The last dance in the desert for this 2017 NCAA tournament features 2-1 seeds, Gonzaga and North Carolina. But Schultz, you think two different roads to get to this point. That being said, I still want to get your prediction in a minute. Checking out the tail of the tape and how these two teams stack up against one another in Phoenix, I want to start with Gonzaga, first of all. And leading into this Final Four, you said, everybody, please take notice of Zach Collins, not just for what's going to happen in the Final Four, but for the NBA draft. Yeah. And he did not disappoint.
6'11", the guy has every weapon, Steve.
And he showed off that arsenal.
Oh, yeah, he did. And you wanted to see it because he was a little quiet going into this game. Hits that big three late. And I thought South Carolina, I thought they would struggle with Collins because of how talented and active he is, but maybe not this much. You see the blocks here. He was so lethal around the basket. The 13 rebounds, 14 points, perhaps most importantly, Steve, 6 blocks. If you're a Gonzaga fan, you're thrilled because Zach Collins is probably the most talented player you have. He's probably has the best upside of any player in the entire Final Four. Big-time high school player, was the first McDonald's All-American to sign at Gonzaga, and obviously really came to play when it mattered most.
And Nigel Williams-Goss, I know he didn't necessarily finish super hot, but he got out of the gate hot, which you think was a
and he's going to have to do it again
for Gonzaga. Now, the other side of this matchup, North Carolina. Speaking of big men, Kennedy Meeks came up
the big boy
huge against Oregon.
Oh, man. You got a freshman for Gonzaga delivering. The senior for North Carolina, the big boy in the middle, was just sensational, Steve. He has not had the maybe great career Tar Heel fans expected from him, but when it mattered most in this big game against Oregon, he was unstoppable. Controlled the entire paint, controlled the game, 14 rebounds, 25 points, was active. And I think, for a guy that's obviously been criticized not being in great shape, you saw tonight, he was in good enough shape to play a heavy workload. And when Barry and Hicks, two of their best players, both seniors, go 3 for 26, I think we said?
Yeah.
And, you would expect Meeks to step up, but this was a big step up for him. One of the best games of his career.
And one of the best games for North Carolina in Final Four history. I mean, think about how storied that program is. Only a handful of guys put up 25 and 10 in a Final Four game like Meeks did against Oregon. Sean May was the last one in 2005. All right, UNC back in the national championship game. I know it's a good story, the redemption story. You've been talking about that. And this is a program that's trying to win, its 6th national championship?
And 20th Final Four versus Gonzaga, first Final Four.
So who's going to win this game? How's it going to play out?
I struggle with this last few minutes thinking, but I'm going to go with the Zags. And I think Gonzaga won't win this game, obviously, if they don't make threes. They won't win this game if Karnowski and Collins get in foul trouble. But I think they will win this game because, unlike Oregon, they have those bodies in the middle. Whether it's Killian, whether it's Karnowski, whether it's Zach Collins, they have enough bodies and length that Oregon didn't have. And I think when Oregon really lost this game, aside from the rebounding, was when they got kind of trapped and lulled into that frenetic North Carolina pace that nobody else in the country can do. I think Gonzaga is more experienced. I think they'll have the ability to control this game enough in the half court. I like the Zags to win this ball game and cut down the nets for the first time ever.
So the Heels on the hunt for 6, but you're going with the Pacific Northwest. Gonzaga, national champions in the mind of Schultz.